Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome to Screen Junkies Universe. I'm Roth Cornett. That's Dan Murrell.
Hello.
We got these two guys with us as well. It's Spencer Gilbert and Joe Starr. Our two favorite. Are you ready to get serious?
Okay.
Good,
Yes.
because Billy and I were confused by the April Fool's Day headlines yesterday, and this show could have been completely different and awesome today, which we will reveal to you at the end. But what it is also great. John Boyega in talks with Marvel. Finn and Ray are back together again. There are 3 Star Trek scripts in development. Lots of stuff happening. First, let's just run down the quick news. Zachary Quinto says that there are 3 separate scripts in development for Star Trek. He was
Always a good
speaking
sign.
to
Yeah, great sign.
Entertainment Tonight Canada, and he explained the following. First of all, I think there's a couple of scripts, because there was a script being written before Quentin Tarantino came up with his idea for a potential film, and so I think they're kind of developing more than one, so I don't know what is going to happen. Quentin is off and doing another movie, so I feel like we're in a state of anticipation. All of us are really excited about the idea of working with Quentin on a Trek film, but I know Simon Pegg and Doug Young, who wrote the last film, are writing a script, and there are another set of writers writing a script. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Dan, thoughts and feelings as our biggest Star Trek fan?
Well, it's our biggest Star Trek fan. Yikes. Would be, it's just this idea of like, I hate when projects are put in endless turnaround, because sometimes it's good, and sometimes, most of the time, it ends up being not good. And this is not a cast or a crew of the Enterprise that, you know, the first movie was a huge hit, and then the second movie was a pretty big hit, and the third movie was not. The third movie lost a lot of money for Paramount, so it's not like they're really in a position of power where if they were just like, if we don't do this, then we walk, then Paramount's like, okay. So I don't think their Star Trek is not coming from a position of strength at the moment, and it sounds like they're in a bit of disarray. And again, it's, you know, people lose interest in things over time if they go away forever. So yeah, as a Star Trek fan, it's a little discouraging, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I want to see that Quentin script, but what's the likelihood that we will?
I don't know. The biggest danger here when there's like 3 different takes on the franchise moving forward is that the executives are like, we should play it safe. So let's take a little bit of Quentin, and a little bit of Simon Pegg, and a little bit of whatever hacks we hired to do what we said. And like, let's just kind of mush it together in this lukewarm paste that Star Trek nerds will gobble up like Soylent. That is probably what's going to happen. But I would...
Least appetizing metaphor I've heard in days.
I'd like to read Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek script. I don't know if we need to like...
See the movie?
See the movie? I'm just very... It just seems like, to use gross analogies continuously, it's like peanut butter and tuna fish. Like, those 2 things just don't go together in my brain, so I want to see it first before we commit.
I'm creating a recipe in my head right now where that makes sense. I don't know. I half agree with you too, but at the same time, I still want to experience it. Even if we walk out of that and we're like, that did not belong together, we were right all along. It's still going to be more interesting than whatever like movie by committee that they will inevitably come up with, trying to hit whatever 19 quadrants that we think exist in the world. Joe?
Well, I think this cast deserves better. I think a Star Trek reboot to recast Kirk and everybody was a gutsy venture, and I think Pine is great. I think Quinto's a great Spock. I think this cast deserves better than these weird committee things. My second thought is, I don't know that Quentin Tarantino writes scripts anymore. I think he sits on a stool and films himself, and he talks through them. Like,
well, no, if you read his scripts, it is like you just sat down next to him and held up the
nice. So,
dictaphone, and it's like, and then this guy over here is like, what? No! And like, they're blocks of like, usually screenplays like just a little bit of dialogue. These are like, foof. And he's earned that right, because, you know, people will take a 130-page script from Quentin Tarantino and make it.
And eventually he'll make a movie that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's... Debate came up recently about who's the most consistent modern director. And meaning that maybe not every film is a masterpiece, but they've never really made a bad movie. And I think he's in contention. What would you hate?
He's very
There's
consistent.
been a movie that I did not like, Death Proof.
Okay.
At all.
That's a
Do
short.
we count Death Proof?
That's a half a movie.
It's on his
half a-
filmography. It's on his
All
filmography.
right.
Yeah, but 1 out of 9, right? That's pretty consistent.
No, that's pretty consistent. I wouldn't say he's never made a bad movie.
Well,
I don't think Death Proof is a very good movie.
I think if for the consistent argument, I I'd go with someone a little lower on the totem pole than a Tarantino. I'd say he's more than consistent. He's got more home runs than not. I'd go with like a Chris Columbus or, somebody who you're just like, can you just make this?
Yeah.
But somebody who can, you know what I'm saying? Though, like somebody who's just like a journeyman that's like, whose name you probably don't even know because they're just like, I don't know, they called me up because they really needed somebody and I directed the film. I don't know
It's
what
a little
it was
early,
called.
but I don't think Villeneuve's made a bad movie yet.
He hasn't, and I don't think he ever will.
Yeah.
That's a good call. I mean, but then there's the comparison stuff because there's people that have made like Scorsese who just like make so many films, So like, how would that math work, Dan? Come up with a formula.
Well,
for me.
I kind of strangely looked into this for charting today as far as audience response and who has made the most consistently. Looking at just the cinema score, who has been the most consistent, and the numbers I'll just tell you, the names might surprise you.
Ooh.
One in particular that we're going to talk about in depth today on charting. But it's very few. It's very few people when you look at audience response, not critical response, that audience response.
Michael Bay.
No.
Is it Michael Bay?
It's not Michael Bay.
Okay.
But when you look at audience response,
Dewey
it's
Bowl.
very few. When you look at, particularly like in the top 50 grossing directors, there are very few that consistently throughout their career have produced a film every single time that an audience has loved. There's one huge name that huge name in directing doesn't make a lot of movies, and then there's a lot of people that you're like, really?
So
Oh, come
yeah, I say
on.
this without
George Lucas.
smugness. No, it's got to be Nolan, right?
Nolan.
No,
Lucas.
I mean, love him or hate him, he's
Lucas is one
he's
of
so
them.
consistent.
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
James Cameron has
Cameron!
never
Oh.
made a movie that got below an A- or an A on Cinema Score.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And you know what? I am one of the biggest Cameron proponents out there. I will own the things that do not work, but he is still one of the greatest directors of our time in
Gives
a
the
number
people
of
what they want.
ways.
Yeah, that's why I got that Na'vi tattoo.
One last thing, though, I wanted
It's
to know.
not all about Avatar. Avatar was one movie. My God.
It was an experience, Rolf.
It wasn't a movie; it was a way of life.
One last thing that I wanted to note on Star Trek that to keep in mind is if you think like, well, but I mean, they're definitely going to make another Star Trek movie, right? Keep in mind, Star Trek is produced by Paramount. Paramount has made 2 high-profile sales to Netflix in the last few months, both Cloverfield Paradox and Annihilation, which not I think coincidentally, both big-budget sci-fi movies. So if you think that Paramount is definitely going to make another Star Trek movie, I think that their recent track record has shown that they are probably not necessarily willing to take that risk.
You made a great segue. Because Netflix is reportedly in talks to buy Luc Besson's Europa Corp. Now, we know that Valerian was not as successful as they would have hoped, and the company has since been in financial duress. So, according to the French media outlet Capital, I don't know,
Yeah. Sure.
via the
You have to
playlist,
shout it angrier.
Capital! That's not how French people talk at all. They report that Netflix is in advanced talks to acquire the company. The deal, which has no official terms as of Friday, is expected to close sometime in the summer. Besson would stay on to oversee the creative development. What do you guys think? That feels like a good fit to Netflix. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I don't know.
Okay.
Luc Besson's a big screen filmmaker. Valerian is one of those movies that your enjoyment depends on the size of the screen you're watching, just the sheer detail. And yeah, okay, he can make a scaled down version of that, and he can make more Lucy's and stuff like that. So it's not a terrible fit, but I think if you're expecting more Fifth Elements, more Valerians on Netflix, you're going to end up with more Mutes and more Cloverfield Paradoxes.
I would choose more Fifth Elements if I could choose more of either of those things.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to what is Netflix's end game here, because Luc Besson is not a director whose movies you buy to put on a small screen. Like Luc Besson makes huge, big spectacle movies. That's what he does. I mean, his great epics are not ones that you watch at home. I agree. The enjoyment that I got out of Valerian and even reviewing it was literally just like, go see it in 3D on a huge screen, or otherwise it's probably not going to be worth it. But the spectacle is the draw, and so this is like, I don't know what to make of this, simply because like if they're gonna buy his company to make his movies to go on Netflix, like again, I think you're losing a lot. Or is Netflix trying to go completely out and do kind of what Amazon has done and make theatrically released movies? It seems at at odds with,
Yeah.
what they're doing. But like, I don't want to see Luc Besson's movies going straight to Netflix.
He also makes
not that kind of
Taken.
director.
He also makes Lucy. Like I said, like he can do more contained.
But think
work.
about
Can I
if
get a
Taken had been on
professional TV
Netflix.
show?
Taken would work on Netflix.
But would it have become like that? The cultural thing for a long time, like that. I will find you. Like that
I think
Liam
there might
Neeson
have-
thing.
it
I don't
wouldn't
think it
have
would
been
have had the
as
same
big,
impact
maybe.
if it had
Like,
been on Netflix.
Yeah, I think you would have had like 2 weeks of people being like, "You seen this Liam Neeson thing on Netflix?"
Yeah, did you see that? Yeah, like you do with every
But it
other
would've-
Netflix original movie that nobody watches. Oh no, I didn't get a chance to see it. It's in my queue, and it'll sit in someone's queue for 6 months.
Maybe
and
he
they'll
can
watch it.
still make those kinds of movies for other studios, but as far as this company is, it's really going under. You know, like it just isn't going to work, and so maybe he'll create things that might be kind of interesting TV shows. Again, I propose The Professional.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
The series.
The series, yes. I mean, I know it doesn't really make sense, and maybe it's never going to be as good as the movie, but don't care. Still want to see that. John Boyega says Star Wars Episode 9 will keep Rey and Finn together. What? Let the shipping wars begin. Boyega has confirmed that they will be hanging out in Episode 9.
Nice.
He was at AwesomeCon in Washington, D.C. this past weekend, and he told Slash Film that he heard the news via a text from Daisy Ridley. So Daisy apparently texted him, "Oh my gosh." First of all, I hope that's an exact quote, because the fact that she texted "gosh" is adorable. "Oh my gosh, I just heard from JJ, parenthetical Abrams, and we're back together."
I hope that was in the text as well.
I just heard JJ Abrams.
We're back
not Jerry
together. That's what I'm really excited about. It's Finn and Rey back together again. So apparently that's what's happening. And also there will apparently be an all-out war between the Resistance and the First Order
Unlike
in the
the
film.
last
Yeah, I mean, like,
movies.
Some might say a
why
Star
do
War.
people use that term, all-out war? Like, what was the other war? Was it a
Not exactly a Cold
non-Comitical
War.
war?
Yeah.
Star Skirmish.
Was it a neurotic New Yorker war? We're like, I don't know. Maybe we were. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I'm really confused.
It was
Should
a
we
flame
engage?
war.
Yeah.
Where they just shouted at each other on the internet. I mean, none of this is really news. They're back together by the end of the last movie.
Last one, yeah.
They're in a small ship together, being shipped. So yeah, I'm glad they're all back together. I really like the chemistry between the group, and just like Empire, where everybody's sort of split up. You're sort of waiting for the gang to get back together. So I'm sure we'll have a
Extended Jabba's palace scene where
Yes.
they first.
Yeah.
Well, we won't get
and
into that.
John Boyega's in the bikini. And,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good.
We are fortunately not the writers of this film. Speaking of John Boyega, apparently he has had meetings with Marvel. So he talked about this in an AMA on Reddit for Pacific Rim Uprising, and basically somebody talked to him about Blade. This is via Screen Rant, and he said, no, Wesley is for Blade. I would want to see Wesley, meaning Wesley Snipes, returning to the role that he originated in the 90s. Then over the weekend, again, at AwesomeCon, I've never been to AwesomeCon, starting to get a little curious about it, that's all I'm saying. But apparently he was said again, no, I'm all about Wesley Snipes being Blade, but don't sleep on me possibly joining the MCU down the road. He said he's had meetings with Marvel about potentially taking on a Marvel superhero. Who could that be? Who would you like that to be?
Oh, Blade Jr.
All right.
Blade
Young Blade.
Yeah.
Young Blade.
Okay.
Son of Blade. Because, yes.
And that's what he's called.
Wesley does appear to be ageless and invulnerable to all but the IRS. So he's definitely.
The IRS look at everybody.
Yeah, they got Wesley.
Yeah.
But he, I would, even by the end of Trinity, Wesley, like, the snap kicks weren't as snappy. So if he were to make a return and then, take on an apprentice, much like he took on Daryl Dixon. What's his name?
Norman Reedus.
Norman
Norman
Reedus in
Reedus.
Blade 2. If he had like
I forgot about
an
that.
attack the block style apprentice in John Boyega and handed off the spiked sword, that'd be pretty fun.
Norman Reedus, also ageless. I don't know. He could play anybody, though.
I'm gonna go, since we're gonna probably lose Chris Evans and they got to keep pumping out Captain America movies somehow. I'm gonna go Patriot, who is the grandson. There's a reveal in Marvel Comics that there was like a Tuskegee Airman type experiment for Captain America's before they got it right. and the grandson of one of the men involved in those becomes the Patriot and starts this group called the Young Avengers. And I think you got to pack as much star power as you can into a Chris Evans-less Captain America movie to kind of, I mean, everyone's going to go, but on paper, convince everyone to go. And I think throwing John Boyega in with all Winter Soldier and the Falcon would probably do it.
Remember that Image Comics character, Super Patriot? He was
do.
like an American flag with guns for arms.
Oh, God, yeah.
Image.
Oh, yeah. Image,
Nice.
man. Early 90s.
I'm lost in that. Who do you say? Would it
Captain-
be fun to be a villain? He
Captain
said
Britain.
superhero. Captain Britain.
Yeah. Brian
That's
Braddock
better.
would
Let
be
him
cool.
let him have the accent. Let him
Yeah.
speak in his normal voice. I think John, he pulled it off in Pacific Rim Uprising. I think he's got a very charming accent, and I think that if you can do Falcon and Vision and Captain America and Ant-Man,
Yeah.
you can do Captain Britain.
Yeah.
Spies. Agent Carter was British.
Yeah. We haven't gotten to see
You
him
know,
play like a...
they knew each other. Their grandparents knew each other. Come on, you can figure something out.
Yeah.
Captain Britain.
All of his characters right now are all like pretty much defined as like scrappy. So Captain Britain, the sort of posh little yeah.
Little
like
Kingsman, little Kingsman flair in there,
Ooh.
bring a little poshness to the MCU.
A little debonair.
Yeah.
Plus that opens the door for Merlin being a thing in the
Yeah.
MCU,
Yeah.
which I'm also super
Speaking of
into.
quips.
I like the scene where he just convinces Doctor Strange to just drop the American fake accent. Like, come on,
Yeah.
come on, dude. Like, we can be
Let's
British.
just do this. Let's watch
Yeah.
out for each other.
No, I am an American.
I am one of the most classically trained surgeons in the world.
It's fascinating to me.
He has a great voice and a
Yeah.
great accent. Just make him British.
Yeah, it is fascinating to me how much an actor of his caliber struggles with that
and he
accent.
goes for it though. Like he was in August Osage County doing a deep South
man.
accent, mama. It's just
Supposedly phonetically speaking, British and Southern. He should have done better with that one. British and Southern is supposed to be a lot more of a match.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like a
that's
lot
not
easier.
if you want.
that's why they all do that's why they all play Marines.
You know what the problem is? The problem is that Benedict is quite posh. And
Yeah.
posh people are trained from very early age to enunciate properly. Otherwise, they're beaten with hammers. And that's the thing
That's
that we
true.
don't know
That is
about
true.
the British.
He
is
swings
that
for
they're
fences,
beaten
man.
very severely with hammers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like to me, he's trying too hard to enunciate as an American. We don't.
We don't.
No, we
We,
don't.
Enunciate.
we barely say words
we
correctly.
barely. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I represent America in that we don't even say real words most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah, just roll into the mediocrity.
Unhinge your jaw.
And you'll land on that accent.
We hit you with
Hey.
hammers if you try too hard.
Yeah.
We're like the exact opposite.
He sounds
Yeah.
like Hans Gruber as Bill Clay.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
God. You're one of them.
Oh, man. You know what? We still love that Benedict. Okay, we're going to land on Captain Britain. We fixed it for you, Marvel.
Yep.
You know what? Fuck you, April Fools. Billy was so upset yesterday because he thought we were going to have our best show ever today. Scrolling through that news and forgetting the date. And so this was going to be our show if everybody wasn't an asshole and if it wasn't April Fool's.
Wait, why are we angry?
Yeah, why?
Because of the
I'm
fake.
angry because I thought, I was like, what a great show. And I was like, son of a bitch.
Oh, it was all fake news.
Yeah.
Billy thought
Because of the actual fake news for April Fool's Day, he
Well,
thought we
get
were going to have the
the-
greatest show ever today.
Get the Snark Attack graphic ready. Just how I don't drink on St. Patrick's Day because it's amateur night. Don't try to be funny on April Fool's Day. It's also amateur comedy writer night. It's like everybody's trying to be so funny and just don't try. None of this is funny what you're about to say. And if you successfully fool someone, congratulations.
You're a liar.
You lied to us and you got somebody to have egg on their face for one shining day. Hope you enjoyed it.
If I could hang on this one too, the next time that Easter and April Fools merges one day, just assume that when you wake up and open up Twitter, you are not the first person to tweet something about Jesus.
You are
April Fools.
so not the first person
You are.
to do that.
Yeah, no, just for next time.
What were your
For next year.
favorite Jesus tweets?
Oh, there was only. There's just a variation of one where he's like, April Fools, I was alive. Also, if you guys have about 10 minutes,
Dan left the show.
at the end of the show, I have just about 10 minutes. I'd like to talk to you about the Risen Lord.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So let's go on with this.
Oh, I have a lunch. Damn it. Next time, Marvel Netflix announces Midnight Sun series featuring Ghost Rider,
Hilarious.
Blade, Moon Knight, and the Punisher. That would have been a cool show.
Bazinga!
Joss Whedon breaks silence on his Justice League experience. Disappointment. Like, how is that even in April? That's
He
so
didn't.
easily.
Moron.
Todd Phillips' Joker origin movie is a Dark Knight prequel.
Maybe. That's
That
probably
seems
true.
like
That's
it's
possible.
probably, that seems very likely. Yeah, Indiana Jones 5. This is where he caught himself. Ken Jeong cast as adult short round.
Get it? They're both Asian. Gotcha.
Okay. We have other things for you to watch. That would have been your show today, but it is not. It has been the show that it has been, and it
Thank
has
God we
been good.
fact-checked.
We don't normally, so that easily could have been our show. Smash Hit. You should watch these. These are on. There's one on the main channel, two here. I don't remember which went where. They're all fabulous.
Will
Check
Smith
them all
is
out.
on the main channel.
Thank you.
And
Woo.
1999 and video game movies are here on News.
Yes, you should watch those. They are very entertainment and somewhat informative.
Very entertainment.
Most entertainment. Much wow.
Most entertainment. Congratulations,
No hammer.
entertainment.
We have all the entertainment.
We have all the entertainment. We have the best.
The best entertainment. The biggest entertainment. See, Benedict? We don't fucking care. Roll into that. Anyway. Ooh, Star Wars, Last Jedi. It could have been worse.
It could have been.
I really am giving up now. Joe Star, tease them on how it could have been worse.
I delved into the worst of the EU and made a really goofy video full of jokes that I hope you'll either enjoy or take way too seriously.
He
One
read
of
the
two.
glove of Darth Vader. Give it a click.
Yeah. No, I've earned it.
And
I've
it's
earned it.
not Smell the Glove of Darth Vader, which is the only problem I have with that book. Charting with Dan is going to happen later today. We're going to dive into the box office.
Yep. Is Spielberg back? We're going to talk about Ready Player One and how it did, and if he's back to the hit monster maker that he was in years past. And we will reveal the name of the director who has made a lot of money that you probably wouldn't have guessed. There you go.
Okay, now I have to guess.
Yeah.
Make your best guess.
Well, he already said Cameron, right? But it's someone you
Cameron,
wouldn't
but he
expect.
said popular, not made a lot of money. So we
He's
have
made
to.
a lot of money, and he makes movies that the audience is very consistently enjoys.
Superstar of Easter, Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson, okay, that's Joe's
Tyler
guess.
Perry.
It just says Tyler Perry.
God, those are the best guesses. I think it's one of. I already said Lucas, and you said they were. It's not Lucas. It's not Cameron.
Well, Lucas and Cameron are two of them.
Two of them, but neither one is the number one.
That's correct. It's not a list. It's not a ranking. This is now built up way too much. I shouldn't have even teased it.
Tease it now.
This
Cut
is
it off.
stupid.
Yeah, well, you have to tune back in to find
Gotta find
who's
out.
at the
Yes,
top
yeah,
of Dan's
find out.
list.
I'm going Mel
The
Gibson.
fun is not in guessing it now. It's in finding it later. That's the whole thing about a tease. If we sit here and try to figure it out, then we just diffuse the whole thing.
Well, this Monday has ended on a Dan rant. Lots of cursing and me just making up words. That's entertainment here on Screen Junkies. So we hope you enjoyed it. We did. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye.